All right, here's your next training tape, 20 plays. As you will be happy to know, there are no holding plays. I expended all the holding plays on that last tape. Once again, I really appreciate everyone's effort and buy into all of this. It's really evident. To those who have been doing their own crew evaluations and sending me the plays, I really appreciate that because you doing that helps make these tapes better. I will never fault anyone for sending me their evaluations of they do with their crew. That actually helps me think more of your crew, that you're actually watching your film, and using those. I see plays on there that everyone can learn on. So I never think any ill of you criticizing your crew, me seeing it, and being able to share this information with others. One last note on the referees report: make sure you tell me everything that happens on there, because the last thing I need to find out is something happened that you didn't put on the report. It doesn't bode well for you or your crew going on in the future. All right, these last couple of weeks are going to be the toughest weeks you probably work, because the cream is rising to the top and the rocks are sinking to the bottom. So the games that you may think that aren't worth doing when they're 0 for teams or 1-win teams are actually going to be the more difficult games for you to work, because those kids and coaches are playing for nothing but pride, and sometimes pride turns into anger. So those games are going to be tough to manage, and we're just going to have to be on our game for those. All right, like I said, 20 plays. I talked a lot about false starts in the earlier one, but let's take a look at what happens here. And umpires, you got to put yourself in a position so you can see the center and both guards in your own vision, because the wing official, if you look right here, they can't see the center and the guards because of this alignment here and the alignment here. So you have to own those center and guards. And what happens here, right there with that flinch, that is enough for a false start. Okay, remember, flinches are false starts if they happen prior to the snap, even if no one reacts. Okay, next thing we're going to talk about is a little bit about formations. Okay, in these next, I think, 6 or 7 plays, we're going to talk about it. So right here, we say that this wide receiver is on the line, okay? And now that this, I think it's the tight end, maybe. This tight end has put his hand in the dirt. So he is locked in, okay? He's in a 3-point stance. He's locked in because he is covered by that wide receiver up there. So watch what happens right here. Trades, right? That's a false start. Okay, if that tight end was in a 2-point stance and does a trade, that is allowed. But now that the tight end is in a 3-point stance with a receiver covering them, they've locked themselves into that position as a lineman and cannot lift up their hand. Their hand has to stay in the dirt, or in this case, the turf, until the ball is snapped. So let's watch this again. We would have a false start right there on number 18. Same scenario. Okay, watch what happens here. We have a situation where this receiver, we're saying, is off the ball. This receiver is on the ball. Off, off, off. So we have 4 in the backfield. We're good, right? Since this receiver is off the ball, this receiver is off the ball, and this receiver is in a 3-point stance, this tight end is not covered, and therefore can lift his hand out of the dirt, and switch to the other side. Watch what happens here. Go a little bit further. Oh, I'm sorry. So you see how he lifts his hand out of the dirt right there, number 16, to look at the play? That is totally legal because he is not covered up by number 4. Had number 4 been on the line of scrimmage and this had happened, it would have been a false start just like the previous play. Okay, so line of scrimmage officials, you have the toughest job, and I'm not just saying that because I am a line of scrimmage official, but you got a lot going on. Okay, you have the legality of the snap to help with the umpire. You have formations. Who's in the backfield? Who's on the line of scrimmage? Who's covered up? Okay, not only that, as we'll see in the next few plays, we have the legality of the formation. And I'm not telling you to make a run at these calls, but look here, we have the ball snapped right here at the 42-yard line. Excuse my non-straight call. If we're drawing a line through the center's butt, it's right there. Okay, by my count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the backfield here, right? So this is a clear-cut foul for an illegal formation. Ball, if this receiver's foot was here, then we would put him on the line. Okay, he is too far back. He's almost 2 yards off the line of scrimmage. We have to be able to make and work with them to make them legal, but in this case, we can't even make this receiver legal. My suggestion to the both line of scrimmage officials, as the receivers are breaking the huddle, I always stick my foot out that's closest to the offense. So if I was on the bottom side of the screen, I would stick my right foot out and say, my foot is your line. And he'll come up, and most of the time, if they point forward, they want to be on the line. So if they're not close to the line, you look at them again and say, my foot is the line. They will get the hint, move up to the line, and do that. Okay? Just a little bit of that going forward. Another formation, right? So here we go. The center's butt is right here. And he's pointing backwards, so he obviously wants to be off. So he's telling you where he wants to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where our signals help us right here. If I'm the line of scrimmage official at the bottom, I'm punching backwards and I'm waving 2 fingers in the air. Don't mind and I'm punching backwards to let this person know I have 2 receivers off the line. When you look into the backfield and see 1, 2, 3, I got 5 in the backfield. We have a illegal formation hanging until the ball is snapped, or if one of these receivers move up prior to the snap. Next one, same thing, right? Let's rewind it back. We're snapping here from the 20-yard line, which means that their foot at least should be on the 21-yard line. This guy's real close. He don't have a down the line look. So it would be the best job of I guess it would be the line judge here to see. We have 1, 2, 3. He's definitely off because he's on the 22, right? Because he's on the line. So it would be your judgment call right here whether he or not he is on the line of scrimmage. So let's work to clean up these fouls. Sometimes in pregame when the teams are running plays, go over and watch them run their plays and watch the way they line up. This was an interesting formation play, I thought, and it brings up, and as we can see here, if you look right, let me rewind it back, we have number 74 and number 50 coming out to the wide side of the field. So right here, they're both on the line of scrimmage. So the umpire should be looking, okay, I have 3 players here. Do I have 3 players 50 through 79? Okay, yes, I do. Watch the umpire's eyes. He punches. I'm sorry, he looked earlier. So right here, he's looking out here. And he sees 1, 2, and then he counts the 3 in here. So I have my 5, 50 through 79. Okay, so umpires, don't just sit there and look at your 3 people here. Also make sure that if they're spread out, they're also 50 through 79. So you have your 5, 50 through 79 on every play. That's not a obvious scrimmage kick formation here. Okay. We should also know that both of these players are ineligible by number. So even if he goes downfield and he's uncovered, he's still ineligible by number. He can still be an ineligible receiver downfield if the pass crosses the line of scrimmage and he is more than 2 yards downfield. So these plays always make me nervous whenever they happen to me. So let's just have extra focus because teams have had time to practice, teams have had time to make funky formations, and they're going to want to do this. So right here we have a pass that's behind the line of scrimmage. So even though these players have gone more than 2 yards downfield, it is totally legal because the pass didn't cross the line of scrimmage. Okay, next play. We're going to talk a few OPIs and talk about situations on how we have OPIs hanging and how OPI with blocking downfield is a crew call. So if I'm on the bottom of the screen here being the head linesman and side judge, I'm looking at this matchup here. So I have two offensive players and I have 1 defender. So the offense has the numbers here. So I'm thinking to myself, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to throw the pass to one of these receivers. He's going to block, and this guy's going to be one-on-one with this player right here. So watch what happens in this play. So our keys should be side judge, head linesman. Line judges are primarily responsible for the pass crossing the line of scrimmage, but that doesn't mean that the head linesman cannot help in this situation. So right now we have the ball snapped at the, let's just say the 24-yard line. And it's important to know that. So we're right before the big line. And that's, I use big lines as visual markers here. So if I'm thinking that the pass has crossed the line of scrimmage, you better catch it on the 25-yard line. So here we have a situation right here. We have a player blocking downfield, and this side judge sees it. So he has what we call an OPI hanging. Okay, because now we have to see, is the pass crossing the line of scrimmage? So we have this block happen and then this catch happen. And I know I'm Xbox officiating, where it's easy for me to say, hey, he first touched the ball at or behind the line of scrimmage. But the side judge does what he's supposed to in this play, and you can see the flag come winging in. There it is, right there. So here's the what we should do whenever we have a situation like that. And the side judge does the right thing. He throws a flag, right? Next thing, if you have an 0-2-0, I'd get on the 0-2-0 and say, line judge, head linesman, did the pass cross the line of scrimmage? Okay, one of you two should know that. Okay, and in this situation, I always give him a yard, to be honest with you, because in this, like, he catches it here. To me, that is close enough to the line of scrimmage that he caught it at or behind. If he caught it on this side of the line, he is beyond the line of scrimmage, okay? So what would happen here is that side judge threw that flag in for an OPI. So then we have, that side judge goes, did the pass cross the line of scrimmage? Head linesman or line judge says, no, it did not. So you walk into the referee and say, there is no foul for offensive pass interference. The pass was first touched behind the line of scrimmage. Okay, you announce it that way so that both coaches and everybody in the stands knows what happened, because we just picked up a flag. Don't just wave your flag. Give an announcement so that even if you don't have a microphone, maybe your wing guys can also relay that information to the coach. Okay. Similar situation here. Look, same kind of matchup, right? Start looking at your teams, understanding their tendencies. Blocking downfield, in this case, the line of scrimmage is the 16-yard line. Ball is caught behind the line of scrimmage. We don't have a foul for offensive pass interference. We don't throw a flag, but if we were to throw a flag, we would go through that same process. So let's watch the play again. So here's how we're going to officiate this also, because this is the side judge's initial key. When that side judge sees that his key take a step in the backfield, he is going to immediately switch to this, because the head linesman, in this case, is going to officiate this catch. And also, a little bit, if he's really good, he can help officiate this matchup for holding. But he's really going to sit there and officiate that catch and officiate whether the ball crosses the line of scrimmage or not. Next one for OPI. And OPIs also happen, and what you'll find out here, on broken plays. So side judge, head linesman, right? Play happens, timing route, he gets fuddled. What do we have down here? We have blocking downfield, right? So watch what happens. You can't see it. It happens off the screen. He's blocking. He pushes him right there. So once you see that push, right here, we have an OPI hanging. Okay, so where was the ball snapped? The ball was snapped at the 20, let's just say get mixed up again. 17-yard line. Push, OPI hanging. Where's the ball first touched? It is touched about the 16-yard line. It's across the line of scrimmage. If we deem it to be, if not, let's just see. I mean, it's really close to the 17-yard line. Anyway, splitting hairs here. You guys have a better view than this camera. But the whole thing is here, side judge, if you're confident that that ball is caught at or behind the line of scrimmage, or first touch at or behind the line of scrimmage, there is no need to throw the flag. However, if you're all in doubt, throw the flag and go to one of your head linesmen or line judge and ask him where the ball was first touched. Defensive pass interference. I think this is our only DPI play. Oh no, we have one other one. So we talked about feet entanglement. Okay, so watch what happens here. We have a long pass right now, and we have 4 eyes looking back at the ball. So when we have 4 eyes looking back in the ball and we have feet entanglement, like happens there, we don't have a foul for defensive pass interference, because even though he got him early, they're both playing the ball. But what you cannot do is, once you see this feet entanglement, to quit officiating on the play, because watch what this defender does. And this is another reason why when we have the pass in the air, we don't watch the ball come up and come down, because like I told you, never in the history of football has the ball gone up in the air and not come down. This is why we snap to that receiver. Head linesman should also snap to that matchup right there. Because watch what happens right there. The defender's down on the ground. He's beat. Watch his right arm reach out, grab and swipe at the feet of the receiver, and he catches the ball. Right? That's great play. We cannot stop officiating for 2 reasons. We stop officiating. We don't see the grab of the ankle by that defender, which is a foul for defensive pass interference, and we stop officiating. We don't know if that receiver caught the ball or not. So on this play, we'd want to foul for a DPI, because the last thing I would want you to do is not throw a DPI as a deep wing. You don't rag it, and then all of a sudden, your head linesman comes up and signals incomplete, and then all of a sudden, then you're dropping a flag. Okay? So if you think it's DPI, which it is in this case because he grabbed his ankle, even though there was feet entanglement before, that second act of grabbing the ankle gave it for the DPI. We'd throw the flag, have the discussion. Was it a catch? Okay, give your preliminary signal. Pass interference defense declined. Result of the play, first down. We talked a little bit about a hook and turn, okay? And I talked to you about don't get fooled with the hand on the hip. And if we get fooled with the hand on the hip, which we don't here, so watch right here. This matchup is what we're watching right here. Hip, and he gets turned, okay? It's not a foul, because watch what happens here. He could put his hand on him. He's not doing anything. He touches the ball. Then he turns him. All with his hand on the hip. Now, if his hand was not on the hip, but on his arm, that's where it's very important for you to see where that hand location is of the defender. Then it doesn't matter if he got the ball first. He would be pinning the receiver's arm down, and then we would have pass interference on the defense. But this is a good no call right here. He doesn't turn him until afterwards, and we do a good job right here. Next bunch of plays are pylon plays, and we really, really have to focus on this, and this is an area of improvement for this week and the rest of the season. We have to know when to get to the pylon and when to stay on the pylon and where to stand on the pylon. So here we have a situation where, as you can see, the shadow of the official. He's upfield, okay? And we have a pylon play, and we guess, and we hope we guess right, okay? I know what you're thinking right here is a deep wing. You have guys in the back of the end zone with the end line threatened. You cannot leave that pylon until the quarterback throws the ball. Okay, if that means you get there a couple seconds late, then so be it. Okay, where we need to be right here is back here. If we're standing here, and we actually, if we really wanted to, we could have started the play right about here, and once we saw the quarterback roll here, we just nonchalantly take 2 steps backwards, and we're standing here waiting for this play to happen. When we see him either step out of bounds, which I'm not sure if he does here or not, he does right about here, when we see him step out of bounds here, we nonchalantly then take a look at our line of scrimmage official. And he says he's coming up killing the clock, and then we just nonchalantly kill the clock just like he does, okay? If he doesn't step out of bounds here and then he goes in the end zone, we take a look at our line of scrimmage official. He gives you that nod that says that sideline's clear, and then we go up for a touchdown. We look like $1 million. Another pylon play. So we're snapping the ball from the 5. We really, head linesmen and line judges, we really need to get to the goal line. So right here, I'm not so much concerned with the line of scrimmage official at the bottom. Let's just say, I think it's the head linesman. I'm fine with him holding the line of scrimmage right now because the play is obviously going here. But this line of scrimmage official has to get deep, almost standing right on the edge of the track and stand here. Because look what happens here. We have a catch right on the pylon, okay, which makes this really difficult for us to sell. We need to be, if we're back here, we see the catch, we see whether his feet were in or out, and we also see whether or not he was across the goal line to making this catch. So again, let's focus on our fundamentals from the 5 and in. If the play is going to your side, get to the goal line. If the play is going up the middle, both of you should get to the goal line. I know you want to read it, but once you read that play and it's coming to your side, let's get to the pylon. This next play, we're going to take a look at, again, pylon mechanics. So look, if all of our head linesmen, line judges, field judges, and side judge would start right here, if you watch the previous plays, you're going to officiate them all correct, okay? Because never had to move. Even if the play came towards the pylon, at most, he's just going to take one step back onto that white line, and in reality, he probably should have started on that white line and just officiated that play perfect. This is an extremely difficult play, and we have a play with momentum. We don't see momentum often. That's why I'm glad that we have it. So let's talk through it. I believe, and thankfully Mark SMR watches these too. He'll correct me if I'm wrong, but momentum from the 5 in. So we have an interception right here. Okay. If we deem that he possesses the ball at the 2, which I think we do in this situation, we're going to throw our beanbag right here. Okay, because then he gets tackled in the end zone or falls down. And, I know these are ones we don't see very often. So, but what I'm going to tell you to do right here is, if the ball is caught from the 1 yard line in, make it a touchback. Okay, because let's not penalize a player for making such a great play so close to the goal line that we want to split a hair and put the ball at the 1 yard line. Now, I think in this case we deemed him the possessing it at the 2, which is fine. At the 2 yard line, we have to be strict 2, 3, 4, 5. But if it's real tight to the goal line, just come up, kill the clock, and signal touchback. But this is how we'd like this to be handled is, you see the interception, he runs in the end zone with his momentum, throw your beanbag, he runs around, falls, and I think he does throw his beanbag right here. Excellent job. Kill the play, and then, if you have a microphone, go to your referee, say the ruling on the field is an interception, and the receiver's momentum took him in the end zone. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 2 yard line, first down. These next 2 plays have to do with, and they're the last 2 plays, referee mechanics on kickoffs. So I've talked a little bit about this before, and we'll talk about it again. We have situations here where the ball is caught over here. Referees, when the ball is in the air and prior to being caught, I know you don't want to leave the goal line, but you need to get yourself over and behind the runner to be able to see up the chute. And the next play will illustrate it a little bit better, because if we have someone breaking through here, you're going to have the best view whether he was blocked in the back or not. Okay, standing over here, you're not really seeing anything. Okay, you may catch a rogue hold or not, but you're not going to catch much. And case in point, this next play. And this is the final play of the training tape. So we have a kickoff, and watch where the referee stands. Right in the middle of the field. If the referee gets over here while the ball's on the ground, watch what we don't miss right here. Because what's happening here is, I'm sure the wing, the line judge or head linesman, is officiating this, whether the ball is muffed, whether the ball is caught, winding the clock. Referee, you don't have anything to worry about that. You get over here, and we see this illegal block below the waist. I guarantee you. Because here, looks like your eyes are upfield. Okay? You get over here, you're behind the runner. We'll rewind it back a little bit. You're looking right up the chute, and you see, boom, right below the waist. Okay? I lied. There's 2 more plays. Also have to do with kickoffs. This one's a really, really interesting one. So we have a play where the ball gets kicked and muffed. So right here, it's muffed. Okay, so we should be winding the clock. And why I'm saying this, we all have game cards where we write the score down after a play. The most important part of when you write the score down is the time. Because we should be winding the clock here, because the clock operators at times go to sleep. At time like to be a fan and watch the game. Okay, so we should be winding the clock here. So then we have the play where the ball is close to the goal line, or close to the out of bounds line. Okay, so it's rolling around, and he's touching it here and then slides out of bounds. But look, oh, this is where we can't be too quick on our whistle. The ball was still rolling here. So if this player out of bounds is touching the ball, then we don't have an issue. The ball is dead right there. And we do not have a kick out of bounds because we had the early muff in the field of play. But we're going to play a what-if scenario here. Okay, let's just say at this point, the receiver never touches the ball. And it just takes a bounce here and goes towards the sideline. So we're not winding the clock because we haven't had a legal touch yet. So what we have to be aware of is that touch. Is this player inbounds or out of bounds when he touches the ball? The reason we have to know that is because if the receiver is out of bounds, then we have a kick out of bounds because the ball was never touched in the field of play by the receiving team. Again, when I'm saying this, I'm saying that this first hit here never touches the receiver. Okay, so it's a lot of stuff that happens right there. There's nothing wrong with, if we see this play and we see he's out of bounds, there's nothing wrong with coming up as the wing official, killing the clock, and thinking about it for a second. Was he in bounds when he first touched it? Was he out of bounds when he first touched it? And there's nothing wrong with dropping a late flag. But it's an interesting play to talk about maybe this week and during your pregame. Okay, I promise this is the last play. First, I'm going to commend the side judge here with his mechanics. He's almost back to the white line. Maybe, I know he can't enforce penalties, but maybe he can listen, and I'm just joking. But no, honestly, we'd like to start on the white line here. Okay, the further back you go, the more you're going to see. And this is an interesting catch, no catch play, right? So we have a pass. Does he possess the ball? And then the ball comes out. So what I love about this, watch the side judge this whole play. Just watch him. Watch him, watch him, watch him, watch him. He never once moved. His head was never bobbling. He didn't have to take steps backwards or steps forward. He never moved. That's because he started in the best position. Okay, he was able to see this ball possessed by the receiver, foot down, act calm into the game, fumble the ball. Watch him. He throws his beanbag, all very calm, comes up, kills the play, and signals upfield. Just an excellent, excellent job of officiating. I also watch the line of scrimmage official here. Now, the line of scrimmage official, what I'm going to tell you right now, you should throttle down, because we can officiate behind the play and get a spot when we're standing here. So if you stop here, you can also be of help. There's no need for you to continue down. Just stop right here. Watch everything that's going around, because you may catch this guy who decides to be a knucklehead and knocks him in the side after the play. Okay? But overall, guys and gals, really good job. Keep up the good work. And if you have any questions on this tape, please let me know.